Well, I'm pleased to welcome back to our studios our good friend Charles McElwee. He is a member of the board of directors for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society, always providing us with great history segments. And this week, perfect timing because Sunday begins Catholic Schools Week, and you told me your subject has to do with the history of Catholic schools in this area.
Right, Lisa. So Catholic schools really began on South Wyoming Street in the 1870s with St. Gabriel's. At that point, there were very limited, if non-existent, educational opportunities for the children, young men, really anyone, because most likely, if you were a young man or an adult, you worked in the mines. But beginning in 1874, the Sisters of Mercy, who were based in Buffalo, New York, were brought down to Hazleton to begin a mission school for the young boys and men who worked in the mines. And it started out as an evening school at St. Gabriel's Parish, and it was formed in the clubhouse of the parish. From there, it grew and progressively, and by 1911, they built a modern, beautiful structure that was built by an architect named Francis Ballinger, and it was a neoclassical modern school, and that enrollment subsequently exploded. And it was not just St. Gabriel's, obviously, for parochial schools, but you also had Most Precious Blood, Holy Trinity German, the list goes on. But St. Gabriel's had the exclusive Catholic high school in the city up until Bishop Hafey's establishment in the early 1970s.
And now we see that the whole Catholic school system has totally been changed and revamped, and we're remaining now with the one Holy Family Academy, which is in affiliation with St. Joseph, was St. Joseph's Church.
Exactly. The Catholic Church, obviously, with diocesan schools, are constantly evolving, and it's not just exclusive to the Scranton Diocese, but really it's been transformative, really, in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, the Harrisburg Diocese, and there are factors: decreasing enrollment, restructuring of parishes, but I think entering almost 10 years since Bishop Hafey closed, and up until the late 60s, St. Gabriel's had a high school, and that school stood until 1998. It was a beautiful structure, and unfortunately it was demolished for a parking lot. But we're seeing how Catholic schools can also be used through adaptive reuse. I mean, we see the example with the former MPB school, now the HIP Community Center. Mm-hmm. So really, the MPB school is a model for what schools can be. If they are unfortunately closed, they can have a new life as community centers, parish centers, you name it. And that, I think, could have been the case for St. Gabriel's School if it had not been demolished in the late 90s.
And Bishop Hafey now a public school for the Hazleton Area School District.
Exactly. So it is really yet another example of what could be done and what should be done with how our education is constantly evolving, whether it's with public or parochial education.
All right. Very interesting. Charles will be back each week to give us more insight into the history of our area.